When a feature flag is being evaluated in the context of a user, we first apply the default resolution, which sets up the baseline for the variant being served up by the feature flag, and then the evaluation enters the rules engine, which can override the default resolution. So if we look at the TFA flag, or the two-factor authentication flag, and we scroll down to our production environment, we can see that in production we have two-factor authentication turned off as a baseline, but then in our rules engine, we're going to turn two-factor authentication on for companies with the given 3 subdomains. And here you can see over on the right, those 3 subdomains are receiving the true variant, and everyone else is receiving that baseline default resolution false variant. Now let's imagine that our two-factor authentication provider is having an issue and two-factor authentication isn't working. These companies might ask us to temporarily turn off two-factor authentication. To do that, we could go in and edit the rule and remove these subdomains and then hit save, but then we would have to recreate the rule later on. It's kind of a pain. Instead, what we want to do is temporarily turn off the rules engine evaluation. So we can go into rules enabled, go from yes to no, and we can still see that the rule is in place, but it's now slightly opaque, and that's because the feature flag evaluation is no longer entering the rules engine. Rules have been temporarily turned off, and in this case you can see we reverted back to using nothing but the default resolution in the production environment. And in fact, if we look over here on the right, every user in the production environment is now receiving the false variant. Of course, once the two-factor authentication incident has been remediated, we can simply come back in here, re-enable the rules engine for this feature flag, and immediately these 3 subdomains are going to start receiving the true override for the default resolution. And of course, once again, if we look over on the right, these 3 subdomains are now receiving the true variant. Being able to toggle rules enabled on and off quickly allows us to temporarily change our feature flag rules engine behaviors.